So we're going to begin in a comfortable seat. Today I'm going to start seated on a chair. You might join me on a chair, maybe on a sofa. For the beginning and end of practice, if you are practicing on a chair, I would invite you to have some support that you can relax back into and ensure the soles of the feet are on the earth. Now, if your chair is quite deep and you're relaxing back, or you're quite short like me, you might actually place something like a cushion or a folded up blanket underneath your feet, so you have full contact, you don't feel like you're straining, and then you can kind of fully relax and immerse back into the chair. If you would prefer to practice on the mat, then you can sit in any position that feels comfortable. You might come into your Sukhasana, your cross-legged seat. Maybe you'd like to extend your legs in front of you, like so, if your hamstrings allow that. You can always bring your feet to one side, or you might come to a comfortable kneeling position. And feel free to use anything you have around you to support your position, to make it more comfortable. Because if you're not comfortable, the mind will be very distracted, and therefore we lose some of that mindful movement. And our focus is so much on how uncomfortable we are, we're not really feeling how everything is within the body. So I'm going to transition back onto the chair. You find the position that works for you, and then we're going to settle in. And today we're really exploring different movements of the body, really starting from the crown of the head all the way down to the ankles, the feet, the toes, the wrists, the hands, the fingers. So really thinking today about, how is my body moving? How does the movement feel within the muscles, within the joints? And seeing if it's possible for us to not label the feelings, just to experience them exactly as they are. It's very common with the human mind that, particularly if we experience something that feels unpleasant, maybe pain, stiffness, discomfort, we can start to then develop this narrative in the mind about how this movement feels and why it feels that way, and then it can kind of escalate into a story. And so I invite you, if that happens, it's completely normal. It happens to most of us, if not all of us. But I would invite you to see if you can just really experience how each of the movements we do today feels within the body. So coming into a restful position to start with, if you are sitting on the mat, maybe lengthen the spine slightly and bring awareness to the parts of your body in contact with the surface where you are sitting. Maybe you'd like to start lying down, that's completely your choice. So wherever you're sitting or laying, just take a moment to bring awareness, with the eyes closed or softened, to the parts of your body in contact with the earth. And by the earth, I mean any contact point. So that might be the soles of the feet, maybe the outer borders of the feet if you're cross-legged, the backs of the thighs, the sit bones, any part of the back. And bring awareness to your entire physical body and notice any sensations you're experiencing. And as I mentioned, trying to do this without judgment, without labeling, just observing and experiencing how the physical body feels today. And if you happen to notice that there are parts of the body that feel different, standing out, maybe they feel uncomfortable or stiff, as you take each exhale, see if you can soften into these parts of your body. releasing any physical tension you might be holding on to, if that's possible. And you can use these contact points with the earth as your anchor at any point. If the mind becomes really active, start spiraling into a thought process, then maybe you come back to the parts of your body in contact with the chair or the floor. And you can also use your breath as the anchor. So start to bring awareness to the breath moving in and out of the body. If it's possible, I invite you to breathe in through your nose. And then optional whether you breathe out through the nose or mouth. If you're feeling a lot of tension in the body, in the mind, then sometimes breathing out through the mouth can allow us to let go of this a little. And if possible, start to deepen your breath. Allow the breath to travel a little deeper into the belly, the abdomen, maybe a little wider into the rib cage. And at the same time, keep the face, jaw, and shoulders softened and relaxed. I invite you to take 3 of your deepest breaths today, in through the nose, and a big sigh out to release through the mouth. Release anything you've been holding on to today, this week, this month. Lovely. And if you are seated on a chair, I invite you now to bring yourself forward. So if you have something under your feet, you might take that out to the side. So now we are engaging a little more in our postural muscles. If you're sat on the mat, you might want to do little movements, maybe change your position if you're starting to feel a little uncomfortable. And then we'll allow ourselves to settle in our new position. This is a little more active now as we start to bring more movements into the body. So now bringing awareness, if there is a shift, a change in your position, the different contact points with the floor or with the surface where you're sitting. And if you're lying down, I invite you to come up to your comfortable seat. And where you are sitting, bring your awareness to your sit bones in contact with the earth. And then feel this upward current of energy coming from the sit bones, the tailbone, all the way along the spine up to the crown of the head. Keeping again the shoulders softened, the jaw released. If you notice you're holding your teeth and jaw really tight, see if you can release that. Let the tongue go heavy in the mouth. And if this is feeling very effortful for you today, you can always take moments of rest if you need to. You might want to lightly engage your lower abdominals, so a light hold in of your lower belly muscles, a lift up of your pelvic floor, just to help support this movement, this position. And then we'll begin with a gentle movement of the head and the neck. So if you imagine with your nose that you're drawing a circle or a clock face. So just start with a very, very small circle. And you'll notice if you visualize drawing something with your nose that you start to circle through the head and the neck. but it's a very subtle, very gentle movement. If you feel you're holding any tension, the shoulders are creeping up, see if you can keep the elbows heavy. You can always bring the backs of the hands in contact with your thighs or your knees. That will stop you from splinting through the arms. And just notice if you can feel this anywhere in the body, maybe in the head, the neck, the shoulders, the spine. And if it feels comfortable, you might start to deepen your circle, so drawing a slightly larger circle with your nose. As you open up a little more through the neck and the throat. So we're just observing the movement here, what we're experiencing, again without judgment, trying not to lead on to a narrative, a labeling. Just experiencing what's happening in the physical body. And then we'll slowly come back to the center, allow yourself to reset, maybe release the shoulders if there's any tension there, and then we'll change direction. And starting small with your nose circles. And even when it feels right, these circles might deepen. And you might notice that this side feels a little different. So again, we're just observing. Take one more circle in this direction. And then we'll come back to the center, release the shoulders, let the elbows go really heavy here as we guide the right ear over to the right shoulder. Keep your gaze forward so we're not looking down or up, just straight ahead. And particularly let that left elbow and shoulder release and take a deep breath into the left side of the neck. Slowly come back to the center, take a moment to reset, and then we'll guide the left ear towards the left shoulder. Keep the gaze forwards, release the right elbow and shoulder, and take a deep breath here. And slowly come back to the center. If your palms are facing up, you might want them to face down as we now start to roll through the shoulders and open through the chest. So we're going to draw the shoulders forwards, up, back and down, and you can use your breath to follow the movement too. So you might inhale to come forwards and up, and exhale to come back and down, and really release the shoulders as you let the breath leave the body. You might even do a big sigh out if that feels good, if you feel you're holding any tension. Take one more circle in this direction. And then we'll change direction. So we inhale to go back, up, exhale to come forwards and down. If you'd like to bring the breath in, you can also just flow with the breath if that feels more comfortable. Come back to the center, bring the elbows back into the sides of the body, back to neutral. Inhale, draw the shoulders up to the ears. We shrug the shoulders up, and exhale, either slowly or if available, a little more quickly, release the shoulders down with a big sigh out. We'll do that 3 more times. Inhale, lift the shoulders, and exhale to release. If you'd like a little bit more control, you can then slowly release them back down. We'll do it once more. And now we'll bring the arms either side of the body, if possible, palms facing forwards. And on an inhale, take the arms out to the side as we start to move through the shoulders. And if you need to, keep a bend in the elbows. And we're going to connect the palms wherever feels comfortable. So you might keep the elbows straight and connect them all the way up and overhead. Or if you need to have a bend in the elbows, connect the palms wherever feels comfortable. And then exhale, we'll draw that prayer position, Anjali Mudra, back to the heart space. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, come back to the heart space. So bringing a little more movement into the arms and the shoulders. So we inhale to lift and we exhale, feel that energy draw back towards the body. Twice more. Follow your breath. And this time we'll inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead, bring a little bit more movement into the hands, and we'll shake the fingers. Imagine you're flicking water off of your hands. Shake the fingers all the way down back towards the body. Twice more. Inhale, sweep the arms. Exhale, shake the fingertips, the wrists, the elbows, all the way down. You can release the breath. Last one. Lovely. Now, if you'd like to stay in your comfortable seat, then please do. Alternatively, you can start to make your way onto your hands and knees. So if you'd prefer to be on your hands and knees, make your way there now. If you are staying seated, I invite you to now start to circle through the body. So we're bringing the movement a little further down into the chest, into the torso. You can circle in either direction and start to bring that movement really into your trunk, into the main part of your body. And if you're on your hands and knees, you might want to bring your palms flat, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. And we're going to do the same circle in, again, either direction, coming over one wrist, then the other, to one knee and back to the other. Now, if you need a little extra padding under the wrists or the knees, please do. Or you can, if the wrists are uncomfortable, you can make a fist and come onto your knuckles to keep your wrists in neutral. We'll take 2 more circles in this direction. And then we'll change direction. You might want to start small. And then you can get a little bigger with your circles if that feels comfortable for your body. Come back to the center, lengthen through the spine. If you're seated, rest the hands on your thighs. On your next inhale, gently arch your lower back and start to open through your chest bone, open through the collarbones. Take your gaze forwards and maybe slightly up if that feels okay in the neck. Squeeze your elbows back without moving your hands. This is our seated cow pose. And then on an exhale, tuck your chin to your chest, round through your body, and take your gaze down to your belly button. This is our seated cat pose. And then inhale, squeeze the elbows back, gently arch the spine, open through the chest. And exhale, tuck and round through the body, open the back of the body. If you're on your hands and knees, we'll do the same thing in a traditional cat-cow. Inhale, lift the tailbone, gently arch the lower back, open the chest, really squeeze the shoulders away from the ears. And exhale to tuck and round through the body, chin to chest. And find a flow that works for your body. If there is a part of this movement that feels particularly stiff, you might spend a little longer here, maybe really working into that area of stiffness for you as we take 2 or 3 more breath cycles. Lovely. And then if you're on your hands and knees, I invite you to come back to the center, and you can now go a little bit deeper into some of these movements. So on your inhale, still lifting the tailbone, opening the chest, come into your cow pose. And then on the exhale, tuck the tailbone round through the spine. You might want to bring the big toes together and the knees a little wider. As you guide your sit bones back towards your heels, maybe your fingertips forward, and lower your forehead towards the earth. It doesn't have to make contact. And then inhale, bend the elbows, come through into your cow pose. So it's like you're making a circle. And then tuck and round, and then draw your sit bones towards your heels, forehead towards the earth. So we're coming through into our cow pose and then rounding back into our cat pose, but more of a child's pose. If you're seated on the chair, you might want to explore those last two movements coming together. So you might come over to one side, then arch the spine open through the chest, come over to the other side, and then move back into your circle as you round through the spine. So really isolating that movement in through the body. If you are seated, change direction. If you're on your hands and knees, continue to flow. See if you can loosen into your child's pose particularly. And then we'll slowly come back to the center and just take a moment, maybe in high kneeling if you're on the mat, and just release anything you might be holding in the body. You might roll through the shoulders or do some gentle movements of the neck. And then I invite you, if you are able to and would like to stand, you have the energy, then maybe you'd like to come into standing. I still have my socks on, but if you'd like a little bit more balance and connection to the earth, you might take your socks off, or you might be wearing grip socks. And we're going to keep the feet hip width or slightly wider, whatever feels most comfortable. And that we do have a seated option, which I'll come to in a moment. So resting the hands on the hips, we've done quite a lot of movement from the head down to the lower spine. And now we're going to start to move the pelvis and the hips a little more. So rotating the body in either direction and bend the knees and really allow the hips and the pelvis to move. Sometimes this can feel a little bit odd to kind of really open and thrust the hips forwards, but see if you can let go of that and just allow the body to flow. And if you would prefer to stay seated, I invite you to circle through your knees, maybe one at a time. So we're going to open up through the hips this way. Got quite a creaky chair, apologies. If you are seated, then change direction. So you might scoot out and back in. And if you're standing, then change direction of the movement of your circle. Notice if this direction feels any different. Really loosen into any areas that feel quite stiff. If you've been sitting and lying quite a lot recently, you might even get a little click in the hips. And then we'll slowly release. Bring the feet now either until they're flush together or slightly separated if that's more comfortable for your body. And then bending the knees, bring the hands to just the top of the knees, the lower thighs. And we'll now start to rotate through the knees. And you'll notice that you get some movement here in the thigh bone, also in the ankles and the shin bone. So we're now getting a little bit of movement in the legs here. If you're seated, come to the edge of the chair, and again, getting that movement. You might want to do one at a time if that feels nicer for the body. Make sure you change sides. And then we'll change direction. So if you're standing, moving in the opposite direction. Again, not unusual to get a little click in the ankle here, maybe in the knees, as long as that's not painful. And then we'll slowly release, come to standing. You might have really felt that in the thigh muscles there. And now option one, we're going to rotate through the ankles. You might bring yourself close to something stable that you can hold on to for balance. Or maybe you keep the big toe in contact with the floor as you start to circle through the heel. So you might start, if you're mirroring me, with your right foot. So the toes stay in contact and we're circling through the heels. You can also do this holding on. And you can also do this in sitting as well. So just getting a little bit of movement. If you feel that your balance allows and you'd like to go a little deeper, maybe you balance on your left leg, really hold that left leg strong, and then circle your right ankle. And we'll change direction. And slowly release. We'll come to the other side. If you're balancing on the right leg, then make sure that leg is strong. You might lift the left foot. Maybe the left toes are in contact as you circle the heels. And again, option to stay seated. And we'll change direction. And slowly release. If you're standing, bring your feet wider than hip width apart, just wider. And start to gently rotate your body side to side. So we're going to just allow the body to flow. We're not forcing this movement. It might be a really, really small movement. Maybe you're just moving a couple of centimeters. And then if it feels comfortable in every part of your body, you might start to deepen your rotation and just let the arms be free, let the arms flow through the air. You might notice they want to gently tap on the body, maybe on the abdomen and the buttock or the lower back. Just letting the body loosen. We can hold lots of tension through the body, so let it be free. You can also release the breath. You can even go a little deeper if you want to lift up the heel, the opposite heel to the direction you're rotating. You can take a peek at me. Let the breath go. If you're seated for here, you might bring your hands either side to opposite shoulder, just crossing them across the body and then gently rotate. And again, this can be a really tiny movement. Take a couple more rotations and slowly come back to the center. And one more sequence in standing, bringing your feet now back to hip width apart or whatever position works for your body. And we're inhale, bring the whole body into this movement. Bend the knees, sweep the arms down, out to the side, up and overhead. Squeeze the glutes, maybe open through the chest. Keep that bend in the elbow if you need to. And then exhale, we'll draw the hands back to the heart space. Again, inhale, feel that upward current of energy. Squeeze the thumbs back, open through the chest. Maybe tilt the head slightly up towards the sky. And then exhale, come back to the heart space. Twice more. You can do this in seated. Sweep the arms and come back to the heart space. Last one. Inhale, sweep the arms. If you'd like to go a little deeper, hands back to the heart space. Maybe guide your sit bones back. Come to your chair pose, your squat position. Take a deep breath here. Soften the shoulders. And then we'll slowly release. Lovely. Shake out through the legs, the arms. Release the breath. So today we've worked from the crown of the head to the tips of the fingers and the toes, and we've moved every part of the body. So now as we come to the end of our practice today, maybe you come back to a comfortable seat on the chair. Maybe you'd like to lie down on your back or on your side. I'm now going to come and sit on the mat. You can come and join me if you'd like to. But really do choose a position where you feel most supported, most able to relax. And when you get there, do any little movements you need to really release any residual tension you might be holding in the body. And I invite you to soften your gaze or close your eyes. Before you get there, make sure you're warm enough. You might put an extra blanket on you. If you're lying down, you might have something behind your head or underneath your knees for comfort. And we're closing the eyes or softening the gaze just to the end of the nose. Lightly part the lips to release the jaw. And let the tongue be heavy in the mouth. So really feel it widen and spread out in the lower palate. Let the eyes be heavy in their sockets. Release any wrinkles you're holding in your forehead or your brow. And allow the cheeks to hollow. Your face is softened and relaxed. Soften through the throat, neck, shoulders. Allow the collarbones to open, the chest bone to soften. Allow the arms to be heavy on the earth or on your body. Soften through the waist, rib cage, torso, abdomen, pelvis, groin, hips. Allow the legs to be heavy on the earth. Soften through the tailbone, sacrum, lower back, mid back, upper back, neck, base of the skull, back of the head, crown of the head. Let the whole body soften and release. And as we have a few moments to ourselves, just say a short poem by Lama Tsongkhapa titled "This Human Body." Just notice how these words make you feel. Again, without judgment, without narrative, just observing. This human body at peace with itself is more precious than the rarest gold or gem. Cherish this body you have been given. It is yours this one time only. This human form is one with difficulty and easy to lose. Worldly things are brief, like lightning in the sky, like a tiny splash of a raindrop. This thing of beauty, your human body. Treasure the time you have been given with it. If you'd like to stay in your comfortable position, your Savasana, please do. You can stay here for as long as you'd like. If you'd like to come to the end of your practice now, I invite you to start to deepen your breath. This may be your anchor point, following the breath in and out of the body. And when you're ready, start to bring some gentle movements into the body and start small, maybe fingers and toes. And then in your own time, at your own pace, you can slowly allow the movements to extend into the wrists and the ankles, the rest of the arms and legs. You might want to make your way into a full body stretch. That could be arms up and overhead. That could be interlaced hands behind the back of the head, maybe open through the elbows. And wherever you are, take a big yawn. And release, let that nervous system regulate. And then if you're lying down, draw your knees into your chest. Roll onto one side and start to make your way up to a comfortable seat. If you're already seated, you can continue to do any nice movements that feel good for your body. And when you've arrived in your comfortable seat, how you'd like to finish your practice today. I invite you to bring your palms together, thumbs to the heart space. Let the shoulders soften, the elbows be heavy. And we'll finish our practice today with one Om. So feeling that vibrational energy travel through the physical body, the human form. And we'll breathe in through the nose. Let that energy stay within you as you gently bow your head to your heart. Thank you for practicing with me today. As we take this practice off of the mat, may we all see the beauty, the value, the appreciation of our physical body, our human form, even in the most challenging of times. noticing the things that we're grateful for regarding our physical body. Namaste.